Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome.
Shabbat
Welcome,
Shalom.
Near or far, right, Kerith?
Yeah.
We're all alone here in the sanctuary, which, despite that, we feel your presence here tonight with us as we welcome Shabbat together from our homes, from wherever we're tuning in. We'll begin with the words of Hine Matov, expressing how good and wonderful it is that we can be together. Welcome Shabbat with Shabbat light, with the kindling of our Shabbat candles. If you haven't already lit candles at home, if they're anywhere nearby, I invite you to grab them, join with us as together we bring a little bit of that light of Shabbat into our world, into our homes, into our hearts. I know folks are probably already doing this who are watching us on Facebook or any other of our digital platforms, but I invite you to just take a moment, if you haven't, if you're following along, just in the chat, wish each other a Shabbat Shalom, a cheerful message. We'll turn now to page 20 for L'Chad Dodi, the Kabbalistic poem that imagines that on Friday evening as the sun sets, that Shabbat arrives into our world and into our lives much in the way that a bride arrives at a wedding, with that sense of magic and mystery and majesty. And so we'll join together in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach verse 9, it's customary where we hear in the sanctuary to rise and face the doorway to the room as if to greet that Shabbat bride. So if you wish, in your living rooms, wherever you are, to rise when we reach verse 9, you're more than welcome to. If you just want to sit up a little straighter instead, I think that's just fine too.
Lecha Dodi,
מחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה עיני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה עיני שבת נקבלה that time where, as Rabbi told us, we can stand if we're not standing, or sit up a little taller and say these words to the Kala, inviting her in. Beau v'shalom, come in peace. Come bring us peace.
So if you're already standing up, stay standing up. If you're already sitting up straight, stay sitting up straight, and we're going to continue with the Baruch Hu. This is our Celebration Shabbat this week. As we, a bit later in the service, we'll celebrate and honor those who are celebrating special birthdays and anniversaries. But whether you're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary or not, and despite us being far away, we all have things in our lives worth celebrating. And on this Shabbat, I invite you to take just a minute and think of something this week in your life, in your family, that's worth celebrating. And if you so choose, maybe share that in the chat with us so we can all celebrate the many blessings in our lives together.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, the promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. And that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands and marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא.
Continue with our evening prayer, Hashkivenu, that asks God to spread a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace, over us, over those we love, and over our world that so desperately needs it.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Hamideinu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Hamideinu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Hamideinu shomreinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
We come to the Amidah, and this evening, because we're spread out, because we're not all here together, we're going to take our entire Amidah silently, either with the words of the text on the screen before you, if you prefer just the words of your heart. We take a moment amidst our joy and our celebration on this Shabbat to think of loved ones, family members, members of our community who are in need of healing, in need of wholeness. And in a moment, we'll offer a Misha Berach, a prayer of healing for them. I'll invite you, if there's someone in your life who could use a bit of wholeness, a bit of healing, to share their name in the chat now. If you're not watching us somewhere where there's a chat option, then hold their name in your heart now. We're particularly thinking this evening of Merlo Gadushi, Kayla Schwartz, Charles Schwartz, Alan Sorority, and Brad Temkin. And we think of them, we think of all those who need wholeness and healing as we join together in a prayer for healing.
so nice to be here with you and with all of our amazing musicians who are here, and with our tech help in the back who you can't see, but they're all here helping us out, making this hopefully a lovely service, reaching you in your homes. But we miss you. We miss you so much, and particularly on this Celebration Shabbat, where we really want to invite you all of you who are celebrating a simcha, to come up to the Ark with us and to honor that special moment in your life. So what we're going to ask you to do from home, and there's something particularly nice about this that we don't necessarily get to do in person. In home, we're going to ask you to share those simchas in the chat. And the great thing is, you can tell us something special about that simcha that you're celebrating. It may be a birthday, but it may hold extra special significance for you for some reason. And there's plenty of space in the chat box to tell us that whole story. So please go ahead and do that. And we hope to see you back in our sanctuaries very, very soon, and to have many, many times to celebrate Shabbat and to celebrate your special simchas together. With that being said, as you're hopefully sharing away in the chat boxes and hopefully responding to one another with joy and with community, we're going to sing our Shehachianu, our blessing for reaching this particular moment in time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Again, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As many of you may know, our ever-growing clergy team here at Wilshire Boulevard Temple meet every Thursday for a few hours. It used to be in person, now it's most of the time on Zoom. And we have a running joke that someone often makes whenever our agenda is a little bit light.
Are you giving away all of the secrets?
I'm giving away one of the secrets. It's a little inside baseball. It's a little inside baseball. But whenever the agenda is a little light, invariably someone says, let's talk about the kashrut policy. And then there's a collective chuckle and sort of groan in the room, because every few years we seem to end up having some version of a conversation about the kashrut policy for the temple, or the schools, or the camps, or the Karsh Center, or the Audrey Irma's Pavilion, and do they need to be the same, or do they have to be consistent? If we have a Chinese chicken salad at the kiddush lunch after the bat mitzvah, can they serve cheese pizza on another table on the other side of the room? If they serve meat, can they have a dairy dessert? At the Purim Carnival, if there are tri-tip sandwiches, can there also be milkshakes? You get the point. And it reminds me of an old joke that is based on 3 different appearances of the commandment, you shall not boil a kid, a baby goat, in its mother's milk. And the first of those instances is in this week's Torah portion. So as the joke goes, God says to Moses, you shall not boil a kid, a baby goat, in its mother's milk. And Moses replies, oh, you mean we should never eat any milk and any meat together? And God says, you shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. And Moses says, okay, so you mean we should wait 3 hours after eating milk, and 6 hours after eating meat? And finally, God says, don't boil a kid in its mother's milk. And Moses says, okay, so you mean we should have 2 separate sets of dishes, one for meat, one for dairy, another one for Passover. We should have 2 sets of flatware, 2 sets of cookware, 2 dishwashers, separate sponges, 2 refrigerators. At which point God finally says, fine, have it your way. See, there'd be more laughter if there were people in the room. Right? There's nothing like delivering a joke to an empty room. My gosh.
At least we laugh.
I thank you for that. The foundation, as I said, of this aspect of kashrut, of not mixing milk and meat, comes from this week's Torah portion. And whatever your personal take on kashrut may be, this is our ancestors reminding us to put some thought into what we eat, what we serve when we welcome people we love into our homes, what we place in our shopping cart as we peruse the aisles of the grocery store or our Instacart app. Our tradition teaches us that we ought to have a certain mindfulness when it comes to food. Now, for many of us, that mindfulness comes with other labels, like organic, hormone-free, free-range, cage-free, grass-fed, raw, gluten-free, keto. We could go on and on. But long before all those labels, long before Erewhon and Sprouts and Whole Foods, came kashrut. Because our ancestors knew that there is value in restricting what we eat so that we have to put a little thought into it. Put a little thought into what could otherwise be a completely mundane and ordinary act. Eating. After all, that's so much of what Judaism is about transforming the mundane, the ordinary, into the extraordinary. A little food for thought as we sit down together at our Shabbat tables tonight. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. A few brief announcements before we begin to conclude this evening. We want to let you know that for all of our health and safety, for the time being into the month of February, we are going to continue with virtual Kabbalat Shabbat services, but we're hopeful and prayerful that sooner rather than later we'll all be able to be here together in the sanctuary. If you're not checking our daily emails, if you don't get our daily emails, follow us on social media. That's the best way to stay abreast of all the offerings. We have services, classes. We have something for everyone, a way to be engaged. Lastly, I'll say that if you're watching us tonight and you're not a member of Wilshire Boulevard Temple, we'd love to have you as a part of the family. If you like what this feels like, if you like this community, then we'd love to have you. So consider joining us. With that, we'll rise in our homes or wherever we are for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We turn our thoughts now to sacred moments of memory, moments of Kaddish, as we think of loved ones and family members, members of our community who are no longer with us. We begin by thinking of those for whom we're in a period of shloshim, those who have died during these past 30 days. As we call to mind Steve Askaran, Ron Berman, Susan Brody, Daniel Dworsky, Elaine Edelstein, Beverly Feinstein, Robert Joseph Flicker, Richard Dick Bernard Halligan, John Harris, Annette Hankin Landau, Alexander Lauterbach, Stephen Leventhal, Yvette Mimix, Joyce Austin, Janice Sarnoff, Ruth Green Stamler, Sunlee Sun, Marvin Jack Teitelbaum, and Steve Tolkien. We add to their names the names of those whose yahrzeits occurred during this past week: Lee Arden, Antonio Aguilar, Ronald Arthur Allen, Rose Baker, Ted Barty, Max Bass, Joan Becker, Faye Beecher, Millie Blair, Paul Bornstein, Bernard Irving Bratter, Harold Brooks, Bernard Brown Sr., Harry Kaplan, Georgiana Castle, Rhoda Dane, Jane DeVelro, Angelo DeFalco, Louis Earlman, Meredith Elaine Fishman, Stanley Fisher, Helen Franklin, Hyman Franklin, Sidney Galper, Esther Gitlin, Alice Gittleson, Esther Golad, William Golant, Naomi Satz Goldberg, Saul Greenberg, David Gross, Gary Gross, Sadie Gruskin, Herman Harris, Henry Hartman, Margarita Held, Robert Henningsen, Josephine Hertz, Frank Hoffer, Francis Hurwitz, Robert Kerith Sr., Paula Klein, Frank Cohn, Raphael Krausen, Mary Kraut, Sarah Kraut, Mildred Leslie Weedson, Fortune Levy Cohen, Anita Lipson, Alvin Malkin, Victor Marshall, Etta Mallinger, Morris Melnick, Seymour Miller, Marvin Morris, Fanny Nagler, Sonia Nadich, Frank Naim, Gail Pasternak, Monroe Feisler, Sophie Phillips, Hyman Pustil, Hanoch Rakovitsky, Ed Raskin, Gail Ritro Rosenthal, Eliona Shapozokova, Sohrab Avraham Savis, Harriet Seelig, Judith Sherman Harris, David Siegel, Wilbert Siegel, Larry Slayton, Lena Small, Rosella Smith, Wendy Snyder, Francis Stern, Gary Stern, Aaron Stovitz, Rose Topas, Shirley Barish Varon, Hyman Uyghur, Belle Wellesley, and Barbara Lefkowitz Zagoski. If there are names to add, if there's a name that I've mispronounced, please feel free to add it to the chat. Hold it in your heart. We also call to mind those to whom we are grateful but do not know. Those who have fallen defending the flags of the United States of America, the State of Israel. All the innocent victims of senseless terrorism and violence all over the world. And everyone who has no one to say Kaddish for them. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. Join together in the words of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yiruteh ve'amlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv imru, Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'tadar v'taleh v'talal shemei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma ve'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, ve'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'imromav, Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, hu yaseh Shabbat Shalom. I
Shabbat
think
Shalom.
we should end with some blessings here. Beautiful. Thanks, Rabbi. If you have, at home, if you have a Kiddush cup or even a glass of wine, all you need to do is hold it up and we'll turn it into a Kiddush cup. And we can bless the Sabbath together with the words of Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshana b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techilah l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. And our motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon. Shabbat shalom.